Okay, next up we are going to use a coffee filter. Okay, and this is a used coffee filter. Actually, it's a tea filter. I use it in my tea maker. But what I want to do is take some glue and a book page, and I'm going to put glue around this edge. I'm just using some tacky glue here. Again, if you just have Elmer's, just use Elmer's, whatever your favorite method is. I'm just going to kind of get a little glue here and there. And then I'm going to take a glue stick, because I just find this works out better for me to do it this way. Which way I want it? I want this way. I'm just going to kind of go wild all over the page. And then I'm going to put this down, oops, on here. And where's my spreader card? It's clear, so it gets shoved somewhere and I can't see it. I need to get a colored one. Oh, Sandy. If your head wasn't attached, you would lose it. Okay, well, I don't have a spreader card. I don't know where it is. I'm going to use this acetate. I'm going to start in the middle and go out toward the edges and go around my circle. This does not work as well. Sorry about that horrible noise. If you're noise sensitive. Spread and burnish. I'm going to turn it over and just kind of burnish it with my scissors to make sure that that sticks. Okay. You're going to prepare 3 of these. If you're making the exact book I am, you're going to prepare 3 of these. Okay. Make sure that's all the way down. And we're going to trim it out around the circle. And one reason why I'm not putting all this together at this moment is because I want to go in and do some embellishing and either stitching with the sewing machine or some hand stitching, whichever you prefer to do. I would like to do some inking, and I want to do those things before I put the, the signatures together. So I'm going to prep 3 of those, and I'm just going to put this aside and let it dry. Okay, that's all I want you to do. I want you to have 3 of those. When this is dry, we're going to fold it in half, fold it in half again. This is going to be a signature, but it's a tuck. It's just simply a tuck that's going to be in, it'll be assembled as it's a page, and it's just a tuck. It's not a tuck on it. You know how you normally do a tuck spot? Now this is also a fabulous way to do tuck spots for pages. If you do this, cut it in half, cut it in half. Use each one of these on the corner of your sheet of paper. Like if this was my journal page, you could use one corner as a tuck spot. And it kind of masks that writing a little bit. It's just really pretty. You could even put an image underneath there and then cover it with this. But we're just going to use it as a floating tuck. Okay? So that's what we're going to do with the coffee filter. So I want you to have 3 of those. So far so good. We're cranking right along, aren't we? Now I want you to use one of the, like a bag from some cereal or crackers. This bag I used here was a little more transparent than this one is, but it doesn't matter. Okay? It really, really does not matter. And all I want you to do is to take that back seam and gently open your bag up. You're going to want to make sure it's wiped out and really clean, that there's no, crumbs or anything like that in there. And I think this one might have been from cereal, and that one was probably the cracker package because it's clear, more clear. And I'm just going to take something and, wipe this off. to make sure there's nothing in there, no debris or anything like that. And then I'm going to, after I've got this all the way open, get all those little sticky parts open. And once it's, whoops, I didn't mean to tear it. I'm going to fold it up like so. Okay. And then I'm going to trim this to, I'm going to just, and you can put this in your paper trimmer. You can really just literally paper trim it. And I cut, with it folded, I cut it 5 inches wide. Okay. And then this bag is taller, so I would need to cut some of this at the top off. But you want about a 5 by 11 piece. So you want 3 5 by 11 pieces. And we are going to seam this up. You could just staple it if you don't want to sew. You can sew it on your machine or whatever. And this will go into our book also. So we want 3 of these made out of the cereal bags. Okay? Gonna want those. And next we're gonna work with a dryer sheet. This is a used dryer sheet. And I wanted to figure out how could I use this, because I love texture, and so I was like, how could I use this? So I figured out a way I could do it. Now, this is a messy process. You need, I'm going to use a non-stick craft mat. You can use a piece of this cereal bag that's left over. You can use a piece of wax paper, some parchment paper, something that is going to give you some non-stickiness to the surface. Okay, now I'm using matte gel medium. You could use Mod Podge. I'm just going to tell you, I'm not a proponent of Mod Podge. I don't like it. It's too plasticky. You could use some just Elmer's white glue. You know, whatever is your preference of glue for this part of the project. Okay, now I'm also using a napkin. This was one of the napkins from a sandwich shop. It was takeout, and I haven't had some napkins left. So I'm going to take this napkin. This is a very thin, like 1-ply napkin. And I'm going to cut this apart down the middle. Now you could do this with a print napkin. If you're following along with Julie's challenge, Julie actually did crafts with a napkin. I want you to prepare 3 of these sheets if you want to. If you, you don't have to. I'm going to cut 4 pieces of this napkin like this. This is just 1-ply. So it's really thin. And then I'm going to kind of eyeball how long I need them to be. Yeah, about that long. Okay. So I have a dryer sheet. I have 4 pieces of napkin, and I have some matte medium. And I need a paintbrush. What I'm going to do is where my napkin is going to go, I'm going to kind of paint this just in the area where the napkin's going. Now you can do the whole napkin if you want it to be stiff or whatever. I kind of like it loosey-goosey, but I'm just going to do it where the napkin is. Or approximately where the napkin is, to get a coating underneath. I'm trying to make a journaling surface, a textured journaling surface. So I'm just going to pat that down into that glue, and then I'm just going to go over that napkin, being gentle, because the napkin, once it's saturated, it'll tear because it's 1-ply. You're just going to be really gentle. And, you know, if you get outside, you know, get the glue on the outside edges, it's okay. You know, just like I said, try to be a little gentle with it where it doesn't mess up too much. Now, this needs to air dry. Don't, even though these go in a dryer, don't take a heat tool to them, because this will actually melt. The high temp of a heat tool is going to will cause it to melt. Why your dryer doesn't, I don't know. Maybe it's not as high concentrated heat. I'm not sure. But I do know that I tested it and I melted the dryer sheet. So this does have to air dry. You could put it in a, you know, warm sunny spot, or, you know, these might, I probably should have shown these at the first prep. Of course, I have some prep, so you know, it's not a big deal. But we are going to prep 3 dryer sheets with a 1-ply napkin to make. You could just use a white napkin. You could use a colored napkin, but I wanted this to where it was a writing surface. That's why I'm using a plain old plain Jane napkin. Okay. Now, what I am going to do is take a dry paper towel, and I'm just going to blot a little bit. Oops, I didn't need to pull that up. I just pulled that right up. I was trying to blot away anything that's really, if anything's up, you know, smooth it down. Okay, once this is dry, I'm going to do mine while it's wet, because I want to show y'all what to do. Okay, you don't want to let it dry on this stick sheet, because this will dry and get this, your glue gets kind of thick on there. Don't let it dry on there. Move it to another non-stick surface and let it dry. Okay. Then I'm going to put this one aside. I'm going to move it to a clean surface, and I'll show you one that is finished. This one is finished. I have glued down this side, let it completely dry, flipped it over. It was really sunny today, so I had it, and see, one of mine tore. I was able to do this, you know, lay mine outside in the sun. Then I did the other side and put the other napkin, the remaining 2, on the other side. This is going to give me a great signature. Now, we do want to strengthen this, so we will probably do some more of the book page to strengthen our spines. Once these are dry and you've prepared 3 of these, like this, I've got 3 here. Those are magically already done and dry. After you've done 3 of those, we're going to go back to that book. I used that piece of paper, didn't I? Let me pick out another sheet of paper, another book page, and we're just going to strengthen that with book page. I'm just going to see what I like. Kind of thumb. Is that kind of big enough? I want something with more. You have to go more toward the front. I was hoping to find something with longer, that has longer sections of writing. Like something with a longer section of writing. That one's got one right there. I was going to see some of this in front before it gets to all these pictures. Maybe it has something that's more, oh, like this. Like, see, this just has all, I'd love for it to be all more text, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers is what my mama always said. And you have to take what you can get sometimes. This is a good one. This one right here's got more text, so let's use it. And for it, I'm going to cut down some strips. What did I do with my paper cutter? There it is. Sorry, I don't mean to be unorganized. I wasn't when I did this the first time. But the second time around. Okay, I got that. And let's do about 1.5 inches strips, maybe. Why is that crooked? Wait a minute. I don't think I had my thing all the thing all the way down. No, I did not. Look at that. Just as crooked as can be. Let's turn that off. Okay. I think about 1.5 inches should be, or I wonder, I might go ahead and do 2 inches, 2-inch strips. That's still crooked. I don't know what is going on with that page. It's okay, I'm going to decal those edges so it doesn't matter. Okay, got our 2-inch strips of paper. I'm going to fold them where I get the most text look. I should get my scoreboard out to use, but I'm not going to. Okay. This is some of this. Now I'm going to decal down that edge, or I could cut it first, and that way I don't have to decal the whole thing if I don't want to. Kind of fold that in half, and make sure my writing is up. I want it up. Kind of trim it there, trim it there, and then I'm going to decal down this edge here. And then we will attach this to reinforce that, because I'm afraid that this would just end up tearing out if you don't have some reinforcement. So you're going to repeat that for all 3 to have 3 pages that look like that. And you can actually just write on that now. Okay? So let's go ahead and prep the other 2 of these, because these are, I didn't do the step on mine, so I'll do that for real, And on this one. And these are just, they feel really, really cool. I mean, I like the feel of the page there. Get this, and we'll decal down that. Whoops, that one I got a little cut happy and it's a little crooked. There we go. And one more. Now I'm going to show you what all these are going to look like once they're actually together. We have 2 more that we're going to work with. Let's see, that's too long. I need to keep these with the one it goes with. Okay, we've got those, and we've got 2 more things we're going to work with if you have something like this. Now, what I do is after I have used my tea maker, I usually fold one of these little, like, you know those paper towels that segment off? I think they're like Viva towels. Okay. I usually fold one in half and throw my tea bag on there to kind of suck some of the water out to drain it so that I can, you know, use that. So that's what this is. And then, you know, normally I toss them away, but I saw this fantastic tutorial on making some faux handmade paper, and I thought, oh my goodness, I will no longer throw those away. I'm going to make some paper with them. So we're going to make some handmade paper. So if you have this, okay, and all this is a tea bag. It's been used, made in my tea maker, laid it down, let it dry out. 3 of these. So you're going to need 3, and also you'll need 3 of these paper towels and 3 of the tea bag papers. And I want you to take your tea, open this carefully. Let's see if I can get the little staple out. And I don't have a staple remover here that's that tiny. Let's see if I can get that staple out. There we go. Staple out that to the side. Have a little container ready. I want you to keep this dried tea for part of this paper banking process. So let me get a little bowl. just got this little handmade bowl right here, and I want you to carefully open your tea bag. See if I can get one end of it. There, that end's open. And carefully empty that tea in there. Okay. Or if you drink coffee, you could use some of your coffee grounds. I prefer the tea because it's just more fine. And then you will open this up all the way. Just kind of undo that seam gently. And then take this over your trash can or whatever, or outside or whatever, and just brush away the tea. And then you have this beautiful tea bag paper that you can use. Okay? So we are going to work first with the napkin, if you have, or the paper towel if you have that. And I have 3 of those at the ready to make a little look of a handmade paper. And I love because this already has all the staining on it. You know, so it's already got a little bit of that look. Now you can use, again, Mod Podge, Elmer's glue, matte medium, whatever you want to use. We're going to use some dried tea. We're going to use some little pieces. I'm going to use some little pieces of that napkin. You know where I was like chopping this napkin up? And I had torn some of it. And I'm going to use some little pieces of that. And this is where you need some little trash papers. We have some little papers here. I have these little strips of paper. Let me get these that are a different print. I have some of these strips that are a different print. And you need some little trash papers. Let's see. What else have I got? And you don't need very big things, like little pieces of things like this. Just little pieces of, let me find some small pieces of stuff in here. This is where I throw all my scrappy stuff. You know, like it needs to be just little tiny fluffs. Not much, just a little bit. Tissue paper is good if you've got that. You know, you can use little pieces of the tea bag. If you're going to use pieces of the tea bag, you're going to need an extra tea bag. I want to keep this rather neutral, so I'm trying to, I don't want to get that green in there, because I really want to keep this a little bit neutral. However, I don't have a ton of pieces that I think I can use. So here's where you can pull in another tea bag, you can pull in another dryer sheet, you know, some little, you know, little things like that. Julie also said if you have any used pattern paper that you could use that. Maybe to draw some color in, I do have, this is some tissue that, you know when you buy something at Hobby Lobby and they wrap it up? So maybe I'll do something with some of the green part. You know, I'm not sure. But, and then I want you to have, like, when I'm sewing, a lot of times, like a piece of string like this, and when I'm sewing, a lot of times I'll cut the strings off and save them. Like I'll have like these little pieces of string and yarn, thread, you know, but like I said, this needs to be cast off. I mean, if you have to, I guess go get, you know, some yarn or something, string. Hang on, let me go over here in my little thing and pull some out. Okay, so here we go. Got a wad of, this is from sewing. It's also from ripping down fabric, and you get those little strings. And like I said, I want to keep this fairly neutral. This would be fabulous if you have some little bits of lace or cheesecloth or something like that. I'm going to try to stick to to what I don't think I want the green in there. I just don't think I want that yet. I think I'll save that paper. I may not even use it. So, what we're going to do is take our, trying to pull things from over here to see what I've got to work with. We're going to take our brush, a paintbrush of some sort, again, and some glue, and we're going to, let's see which, I want to work on this one, I think. Let's move everything over to that one. I don't know why this one just appeals to me. And you could do one side, both sides, you know, however you want. You might want to do, since this is going to be folded, these are not going to be side by side. You could do just one side and then one side, you know, however you want to do it. I think I'll work on this piece right here. I'm just going to do one half of it to do a demo. Okay, so you're going to take some of your matte medium, Mod Podge, your glue, whatever. You're going to brush some glue on. In a variety of places. I'm going to take a little pinch of that tea and let it sit in there. Kind of go over it and embed it. It gives that look. This is a faux. Oh, and I saw this. Let me tell you where I saw this. I saw this at, I'm pretty sure it was Treasure Books, and I will link to her tutorial because this is not my original idea. I just thought it was fabulous though. And then you can do some little inclusions. And I'm going to do right here a little piece of this tea bag paper to do some inclusions in here. And to give it that look like it's little bits of things that have been mashed into the paper. And I thought this was fabulous to do with like your leftovers and stuff. I thought, oh my goodness, it's a great idea. Here I've got some little bit of brown, like brown paper bag. I'll put some darker pieces in there, here and there. Put one up here. I'm scooting all the way off, aren't I? I'm just scoot, scoot, scoot. I do that every single time. I apologize. And I just got coffee or tea in my glue. I'll try to dip that out. But see how it's already taking on that little look? Let's tear a piece of this napkin down in kind of a odd little shape and put some of that over here. This is my napkin that I just used over there a while ago. I was just shocked when she did this. I thought, this is one of those things where you hit yourself on the head and go, why did I not think of that? That is amazing. I'm just doing a random. You could even do dried flowers in here. That would be gorgeous. This is tea bag paper, it is. Tear some of that so it's not, I don't want it to have straight pieces on it. I don't mind if things overlap. I'm going to use a little bit of this string. I'm just going to pull some of them and tap them in there with I'm going to try to get the glue that has that I've contaminated. I don't know why. I should have thought of that and dipped some of this out. But you want to kind of get that to where it's actually glued down. And I like these Viva paper towels because they have a the texture of a actual, they feel fabric, cloth-like. They feel very fabric and cloth-like, and they can take this glue. A thinner paper towel is really not going to take it very well. Now, you could do this on paper. You don't have to do this on here. I just love the idea of the texture of it on here. And I'm just taking out little bits of strings, and I'm just going to glom them in there. kind of let them organically place themselves and embed them in the gel and let that dry, and it's going to be a really cool piece of what's going to look like handmade paper. Isn't that cool? And I'm not going to do a too ton of a much of stuff on here. Start saying, cut, cut, cut. I do like the look of that though. I did have one more thing I'm going to try, one more technique, and then we'll move on. This will get all of our pages done. We're going to prep. Let's see, that's sticking up. And I think I'll go back in here where it's a little bland and where it's still a little wet, and come and sprinkle a little bit more of that tea on here. Just a little pinch more of the tea in some of the places that's not highlighted, and let it have that kind of granule look. And before I stick this back in my glue, I'm going to wipe it off this time. And you have this just really fun organic look. And like I said, if you had little bits of lace or little you know, pieces of fabric or cheesecloth would be really great. I'm just kind of using what is in my waste pile right now. I'm not going to get out any extra. And let's try, I'm going to move this tea because I don't want to blow that over. Let's see how this will dry with the dryer. Excuse the noise. I think that'll dry just fine if you want to use your dryer on it. I'm going to kind of blot some of the, I have some places where the glue's kind of heavy. I'm just going to blot those out just slightly so that they don't. But I think that's going to dry beautifully. So that's how you're going to do that. Now if you want to go and do some paper inclusions, let me see if I can find a little bit of paper. You could do some paper inclusions too if you wanted. We could do a little bit of paper in it like that to bring in some of our text. You could find specific words if you wanted to and put words in here. I would make these pretty random if I'm going to stick, oops, I guess I have to open that, don't I? Make these pretty random if I was going to stick something in there, you know, make them sort of random, not too, you know, you could put some papers in there. Because I'm just going to do one of these on camera and then I'll go off and finish them up. And like I said, I think what I'm going to do on them, I think I'm going to leave the back side alone, do something different on this side, and maybe just do one side, or I may just do one section on each one. I'm not sure. But I'm going to finish drying this, and hang on and I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, this is fabulous. It dries like a dream with the, now I don't know, I'm using a matte gel medium. I'm using Liquitex, so I don't know. Mod Podge might bubble. Some glues might bubble. This did perfect, and this is like a dream. It has such an organic texture, and what I love about this too is like you could sew on this. This just adds a little bit to it. Now we are going to have to strengthen our spine again. That is something we're going to have to do with another book page. We are going to have to strengthen these 3 pages. So you're going to prep 3 paper towels like this, if you want to, okay? So we are going to have to strengthen those spines, and like I said, I'm going to do the rest of these off camera. I'm not going to do a repeat, and I'm also going to link the original tutorial. This is not my idea, but I thought it was amazingly wonderful. Maybe you don't have a store where you can get handmade paper in your area, or maybe it's just outrageously expensive, because some of it is. And this is a way to get a fabulous look, and I just really like it. Okay, so let's get another piece of paper to do our edging to reinforce. And then we have one more page prep. And then we're going to close the video out after this and move on to doing, be just about time to put the book together and start embellishing. Let's see, yeah, this is a good one. This one here, and I'm going to do 2-inch strips again. White off there. I'm just going to do 2-inch strips of paper again. And I'm going to fold these in half. Now, I'm going to take them and cut them down to the size they need to be, and then I'm going to decal the edge again. And this just about preps all of our paper for our book. And see, there's no scrapbook paper involved. You know, there are things we found around our house or in our kitchen, or kind of like that little writing right there. You don't have to have a book on even a certain subject, you know. Sometimes you have to be careful what they say, if you know, depending on what kind of book you're using. But you can get books at the library sale. Ask a friend. Don't even use a book. Use a magazine. You know, if you've got a magazine, use a magazine, which would give you some pretty colorful paper along here. Outsource and, check with friends and family on things like that. Put that back there. This back there. And this back there. And I'm not sure if this is going to be one long thing or if I'm breaking it in two. I don't have any idea how long this video is at this point. I've had to stop and start so many times today, but I love that. Oh my stars, I love that. Okay, we'll be doing the rest of those later. So let's just stop right there at all those pages, get everything prepped, and I will see you in the next video. And thanks for joining me, and I'll see you around the studio.